What you must reduce in your later years. For a happy retirement without regrets. From age 60, do it this way. Have you ever thought about this? Do I have to keep worrying and regretting? Even after turning 60? After working so hard all these years? Will I still be anxious about money? After retirement? Many people save money and invest for their retirement, but when retirement actually arrives, they're often overwhelmed by anxiety. This is especially true in our rapidly changing society of 2025. Today, we'll talk deeply about what you must reduce for a life without regrets after 60, and how to spend your retirement wisely. I hope this story helps make your remaining years more abundant and peaceful. If you enjoy today's story, please subscribe and like. I support your happy retirement. First, you must reduce anxiety and worry. When you reach your 60s, you're confronted with different types of anxiety and worry than in youth. Concerns about health, financial problems, and psychological anxiety like loneliness. All these worries often weigh down our lives and block happiness. We commonly experience worry in the process of preparing for the future. But excessive worry can become a poison that eats away at the present. Schopenhauer left us these words: humans torment themselves with worries about the future, while too easily ignoring their present happiness. Ultimately, worry doesn't prevent future misfortune, it only steals today's happiness. When we reflect on these words, we realize how much time we waste on unnecessary worries. Without realizing it, we worry about the future with a sense of dread, drawing worst-case scenarios and tormenting ourselves. But these imaginations are far more likely to harm our present peace than to become reality. Our minds are more fragile than we think, and even one small seed of anxiety can quickly grow into a massive forest of worry. Now is the time to break this vicious cycle. Let me give you an example. Ms. Kim Young-hee worked hard all her life saving for retirement. Besides the national pension and retirement pension, she subscribed to personal pension plans and grew her assets through wise investments. But as retirement approached, Ms. Kim couldn't sleep. What if the money I saved isn't enough? If prices keep rising, I might not be able to afford living expenses. What if my health deteriorates and medical bills pile up? What if I become a burden to my children? What if I end up alone and lonely? These endless worries crushed Ms. Kim's spirit and ultimately prevented her from enjoying her retirement in peace. Like a giant anchor dragging her into the deep sea, worry grabbed Ms. Kim's ankles and prevented her from moving toward a happy future. Anxiety keeps growing in our thoughts, eventually transforming into a monster much larger than the actual problem. Ms. Kim decided to consult with a financial planner to escape this vague anxiety. The expert carefully diagnosed Ms. Kim's financial situation, calculated expected future expenses, and analyzed her monthly cash flow. With national pension, retirement pension, personal pension, and even reverse mortgage, she could secure stable living expenses. The outlook was even more positive, suggesting she could enjoy a more comfortable retirement than expected. The expert reviewed Ms. Kim's asset portfolio, suggesting strategies to pursue both stability and profitability. They established a strategy to secure basic living funds through senior preferred accounts and fixed deposits, while using diversified investments to hedge against inflation. The expert also provided comprehensive financial consulting, including checking health insurance policies for unexpected medical expenses and estate tax reduction strategies. Only after hearing the experts' objective analysis and advice did Ms. Kim finally breathe a sigh of relief. When her vague anxiety turned into concrete numbers, her mental unease disappeared like lifting fog. At that moment, Ms. Kim realized something. Vague worries expand endlessly, but lose their power in the face of concrete facts. Worry is like a shadow without substance. When you shine light on it, its true nature is revealed, and it can no longer threaten us. The first step to reducing anxiety and worry after 60 is diagnosing your financial situation and setting goals. We can only move in the right direction when we accurately understand where we currently stand. First, you must accurately grasp your cash flow, national pension, retirement pension, personal pension, and possibly reverse mortgage or farmland pension. How much is your fixed income? And how much are expected expenses, like living costs, healthcare, hobbies, and support for children? It's important to analyze spending patterns from recent years to create a realistic budget, not just rough estimates. Asset analysis is also crucial. Identify the scale and proportion of your real estate holdings and financial assets, deposits, funds, stocks, bonds, to objectively face your current financial state. If any assets are taking up an unnecessarily high proportion, consider adjusting them. Next, you need to set financial goals. Consider your expected retirement timing, retirement period, and desired lifestyle to establish concrete financial objectives. For example, if you estimate needing about 35 million won annually to maintain a minimum standard of living after retiring at 60, create a realistic plan to achieve this goal. Goals should be specific and measurable, like secure 3 million won in stable monthly cash flow, rather than just save a lot of money. If establishing such complex financial plans alone is difficult, don't hesitate to consult a financial planning expert for personalized planning. Experts will provide optimal solutions for your situation, relieving vague anxiety and presenting a concrete roadmap. Through this process, vague anxiety decreases, and as concrete goals and action plans emerge, you can find peace of mind. Establishing a financial plan is also an important way to reduce anxiety. It's good to diversify your pension system to secure stable cash flow. Besides national and retirement pensions, actively use personal pensions, and if necessary, consider reverse mortgages or farmland pensions. Reverse mortgages can be a very useful alternative for those who own homes but lack cash flow. Investment strategy should prioritize stability while reducing risk through diversified long-term investment. Use senior preferred accounts and fixed deposits to prioritize principal protection while diversifying some assets across stocks, bonds, and real estate to hedge inflation and increase portfolio stability. When starting investments, begin with small amounts to reduce burden and approach low volatility products first. Consider target date funds (TDF) that automatically adjust asset allocation for your retirement timing. A wise choice. Regarding real estate, it's important to reduce its proportion and increase financial assets for liquidity. As you age, you might suddenly need large sums of money, so it's advantageous to increase easily convertible assets, sell or rent unnecessary real estate for additional income, and as mentioned, consider reverse mortgages, where you receive monthly pension, using your home as collateral. Tax strategy is also essential. Make additional contributions to pension savings and IRP to maximize tax deductions, and actively utilize ISA, individual savings account, tax-free and separate taxation benefits. Consider gifting to children in advance to reduce inheritance tax burden. As part of long-term financial planning, consider side jobs or businesses to create additional income after retirement. Use your experience and knowledge from your younger days to run blogs, YouTube channels, or online stores, or earn income by utilizing your talents through teaching, consulting, or freelancing. This provides not just economic benefits, but also helps maintain social activity. For a vibrant retirement, expense management is also important. Actively use public utility discounts, public transportation discount cards, and culture cards to save living expenses, and regularly review fixed expenses to check for unnecessary spending. Also, consistently get health checkups and review health insurance to prepare for medical expenses, making efficient use of healthcare costs. Finally, it's crucial to secure sufficient emergency funds for unexpected medical or care costs. This provides not just financial stability, but also greatly reduces psychological anxiety when sudden situations arise. All these financial plans are essential for reducing anxiety and spending a stable retirement. These plans go beyond merely listing numbers. They become a solid support for your future. Ultimately, anxiety and worry in old age largely stem from economic uncertainty. If we manage this uncertainty through systematic planning and execution, we can welcome a much more peaceful and happy retirement. So don't be trapped by vague worries anymore. Diagnose your financial situation right now and start making plans. That's the most important first step toward a life without regrets after 60. The anxiety you feel now is imagination, not reality. Shine light on that imagination and erase the shadows of anxiety with concrete plans. Now, what's the second thing you must reduce for a life without regrets after 60? It's the gaze of others and unnecessary relationships. Second, you must reduce others' gaze and unnecessary relationships. In our younger years, due to work life and raising children, we form countless relationships and can't help but care about others' opinions. Sometimes we had to attend unwanted gatherings and smile without meaning it. But after 60, you need to break free from these constraints and focus on relationships and lifestyles that truly matter to you. It's time to let go of relationships you maintained by force and practice being free from others' gazes. Schopenhauer left us these words: "We live in the gaze of others, but that gaze doesn't take responsibility for our lives." In other words, no matter what others say, they won't live your life for you, no matter how nicely it's wrapped. Ultimately, our lives and suffering are entirely our own responsibility. Yet many people still live trapped by others' gazes, losing their true selves. Obsession with how we appear to others and how they evaluate us becomes like an invisible prison, leading to self-sabotage of our own happiness. Now we must escape this prison of others' gazes. Let me give you an example. Mr. Park Chan-ho lived his entire life trying to appear as a good person to others. At work, he always volunteered for difficult tasks, and at gatherings, he played the mood maker role, seeking people's praise. Among friends, he was the reliable friend who didn't avoid troublesome tasks. And to his family, he tried to appear as the sacrificing breadwinner and perfect parent. He gave money meant for himself generously to his children for tuition and wedding expenses, even using his retirement funds. But after retirement, Mr. Park fell into emptiness. Though he generously gave the money meant for himself to his children, they rarely visited, using their busy lives as an excuse. Friends he worked so hard to maintain relationships with became distant, busy with their own lives. When they did contact him, it was mostly to ask for money or share trivial complaints. Mr. Park was gripped by deep doubt. Who have I been living for all this time? Where was my life? His reflection in the mirror looked exhausted, and all that remained was emptiness and loneliness. What Mr. Park belatedly realized was that he had wasted too much energy and time on others' gazes and unnecessary relationships. He had struggled just to be recognized and loved by others, forgetting what it meant to truly live for himself. Now after 60, you must boldly shed these unnecessary burdens. This period may be your last chance to become the protagonist of your life. First, you must be free from others' gazes. Worrying about what others think restricts our behavior and prevents us from finding true happiness. Even when you want to do something, You hesitate thinking others might find it strange, and hesitating on new challenges is ultimately an act of self-repression. When you try to start a new hobby or take a trip you've always dreamed of, people around you might say negative things, like, at your age, or, why waste money on that? But remember, others aren't as interested in your life as you think, and even if they talk about your life, they won't live it for you, or take responsibility for the happiness and unhappiness you'll experience. What matters is focusing on what you want and whether it makes you happy. Don't be concerned with others' evaluations anymore. Your life is yours alone. Others' gazes are like clouds. They block the sky for a moment, but eventually disappear, and the sun shines again. Second, you must organize unnecessary relationships. As we age, quality becomes more important than quantity. In relationships, in our youth, thinking connections are wealth, we formed many wide but shallow relationships. But after 60, it's far better to form deep relationships with a few people who truly understand and support you, rather than relationships that drain energy and cause stress. Schopenhauer said arguing with a foolish person is like wrestling with a pig in mud. The pig enjoys it, but you just get dirty. Relationships that waste your time and emotional energy and cause unnecessary arguments need to be decisively organized. Among the many connections formed in youth, many are maintained by force, simply for social appearances or business reasons. But after 60, boldly break free from these formal relationships. You no longer need to maintain relationships with people who exhaust you and make you uncomfortable. It's far wiser to focus on yourself and invest more time and sincere energy in relationships with a few friends or family you can meet comfortably. These genuine relationships will bring great comfort and happiness to your later years. Third, you must focus on health management. After 60, health is your most important asset. No matter how much wealth you accumulate or social honor you gain, if you lose your health, what does it all matter? You must abandon habits of overworking or neglecting your body. Like in your youth, consistent exercise, balanced diet, and sufficient rest are key factors that determine quality of life in old age. No amount of money can make you happy if you're dragging around a sick body. To maintain health, keep regular lifestyle habits and get regular health checkups to prevent and detect diseases early. Prevention is far more important than treatment, and early detection can prevent greater pain and costs. Also, it's important to relieve stress and manage mental health through hobbies and leisure activities. Mental health is as important as physical health. Find activities that suit you, like meditation, yoga, or light walks, and practice them consistently. Life is like a marathon. The 60s is when you enter the final stretch. At this stage, it's more important to finish steadily than to rush ahead. To do this, you must manage your physical and mental strength well. Don't dwell only on past glory. Focus on your present self, and naturally accept physical and mental changes of aging. Finally, reducing anxiety about health through securing emergency funds is necessary. Preparing sufficient emergency funds for unexpected medical or care costs greatly helps maintain peace of mind. This connects closely with the financial planning mentioned earlier. Thorough financial planning reduces anxiety and provides the comfort to focus on health management. Ultimately, for happiness after 60, you must boldly reduce unnecessary worries, others' gazes, and energy-draining relationships. Fill that space with time and energy for yourself. Prioritize your relationship with yourself. Listen to your inner voice and focus on what truly makes you happy. A life where you focus solely on yourself and devote yourself to what truly makes you happy. That is the path to living truly happily, without regrets from age 60. I sincerely hope your remaining years are no longer spent watching others or trapped by worries, but shine with your own unique colors. Right now, boldly shed the unnecessary things weighing down your life, and enjoy true freedom and happiness. The 60s are a new beginning, based on wisdom and experience, accumulated over many years. It's time to design and execute a life entirely for yourself. Don't be bound by past regrets or future anxieties. Focus on the preciousness of the present and savor each moment. The two things I mentioned today, reducing anxiety and worry, and reducing others' gazes and unnecessary relationships, will become powerful tools to make your later years shine brighter. I hope you write the final chapters of the beautiful book of your life, boldly and without regret. You deserve it.